All right, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this first stream after Thanksgiving? You guys have a good Thanksgiving? We did. I'm trying to think of what new stuff we have. I do have new fans for you guys that were asking us for 4020 fans. We now have 4020 fans, and these are in 24-volt varieties only because the printers that have been using these are only 24-volt printers. So if you guys are looking for 4020 fans, we have these now in the shop. We also will be restocking the 8mm Easy ABL micro sensors. We just got a shipment of those in today, so they will be coming back in. We sold out of them during the sale, so I hope you guys all got some good deals on our little Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale extravaganza. And Krista right now is running our Winter Printer Wonderland. So if you guys have been seeing the posts, there's details on that. We're running a contest. So keep an eye on that. We're going to be doing a lot more fun things next month, I should say. Next month. So, and I did have a question for you guys because I have something here that Krista found this while we were cleaning out her old place, and I kind of want to mod it. I've never modded one. You guys ever play with the older PS2s here? I kind of want to mod these. So I was up at like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning researching like mod chips and stuff. So if you guys got any recommendations, let me know, because we have an old 32-inch Panasonic CRT downstairs in our theater room, and I'm going to be putting that on the TV because there's a lot of good games. So I think the one I ordered a couple ones. It was like the Modbo 5. And you guys know I'm no stranger to soldering. So that PS2 is my childhood. Well, I'm about to have my way with it. So she didn't have the power adapter or the AV cables, so those are on the way. And then... but she did have the 2 original controllers, which are good because those are hard to find now. But yeah, congratulate Justin. I know Justin just got a new house. Oh shoot. Justin's expecting a kiddo. That's awesome. Awesome. Hoping for a boy. When I have kids, I want to have a boy for my first. So I feel you there. I want to do like, boy stuff like my dad did with me. I was in Boy Scouts for a while. I'm actually an Eagle Scout. So that's awesome. So you got a new house and you got a kid on the way. Was the house before or after you found out you had the kid? Or is the house because of the kid? So he wants a Scout. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Boy Scout. I don't know how many people know. I don't think any of my Scout stuff is behind me, but I got an Eagle plaque up on the wall here and a stained glass Eagle thing that my dad made me. So, yeah. Justin said Atari, Commodore, Nintendo, and PlayStation. So I still have my Commodore 64. You guys may not know, like, that was my first computer. I'm 33, but I got into computers because my grandmother gave me her old Commodore 64 when she upgraded, and that's what I learned on. So I've been programming since I was like 12, maybe 13. I don't know, maybe even younger than that. My mom might know. But yeah, I programmed in BASIC on my Commodore 64, and I still have that with the 1541 disk drive. So I don't have that hooked up. I don't really know what I would do with it at this point. But yeah, so I'm going to be modding this. I have I think from what I was reading, you need a flash drive to load some of the homebrew stuff on. So I got a little low profile one. And from what I understand is using, like, if you're going to use backup ROMs, like to play the games, because we do have some games, I'm going to scan those in or dump them with my computer. Apparently, you're better off using over the network to load your ISO files or whatever versus the USB ports, because the USB ports on these are like 12 megabits per second, whereas the Ethernet's 100. And I have got a file server here, so it'd be nice just throw all my files on the server. So, but anyways, if you guys are in the Discord server and have any tips for modding a PS2, that's going to be my little project. So I'm going to open that up and clean it. All right. So if you guys are new to this, there's a tangent at the beginning where I just go and talk about whatever. So that's where we're at right now. After the tangent, we go ahead and answer questions about 3D printing and keep it with FDM printing. So if you want to bug somebody about resin printers, that's not my wheelhouse, but I could definitely refer you to a guy named Akuma Mods, aka Matt. He is, I'm pretty sure, I think he's all resin printing at this point. I think he got rid of all his FDM stuff. So, Emerson Quarter, BQ is a sponsor for the stream. Big Tree Tech, aka BQ, could not pay me enough to shill their products. Because I'm not going to recommend stuff that's absolute garbage with no company backing them. So, anyways, no, I did not realize I left that in the shot. Yeah, I picked up a new toy here. I went crazy. Well, not crazy. But I wanted something unique, so I bought a Caltech. So there will be a video coming up because Practical Prints, I'm printing things for it. Yeah, I mean, I can show you guys some of the prints on here. I know some people are a little about firearms. If you are, turn your YouTube off now, but I'm not. Basically, everybody here carries. So it's a very safe workplace. I don't have any any worries about if somebody tried to rob us or something. Good luck. This would be a very bad place to try to rob. But yeah. Oh, so I was printing with Coex's Nylex, and so the foregrip, this one sadly is slightly too long for the rail. So I'm printing a different one. I actually just took these off my Ender 6. So I printed, these are from Thingiverse. I printed a couple different styles to see. I'm hoping this one will go on here. You can see I had to print this with a bunch of support. The Coex Nylex, if you guys have ever printed with that, it's a nylon filament. It's super strong. And the funny thing is, I actually found out that the plastics that are on this gun are actually DuPont Zytel, which is a type of nylon. And the funny thing is, Coex used to make DuPont Zytel filament, and Nylex is basically, I can't say it's exactly the same because like they own the trademark on Zytel, but it's basically the same thing, if you guys catch my drift. So, yeah, I printed some stuff on it, like a cheek pad, and let me just make sure this is clear. Okay, so I printed this on my Ender 5 Plus with the Slice Engineering Mosquito Magnum. Now, you can see there's some, I'm seeing like this banding here. I think this is from my bed, but I printed this. This goes over the metal piece here. And I think it looks a lot nicer than having the exposed metal. So somebody designed this. You can see this. This is the nylon, so it's like kind of soft, kind of grippy. And then I also printed a little cap here, because I don't like how this looks. It's a little plug. And then the last thing is going to be a foregrip right here. So that's about it. But look how nice that looks in. So if you guys were thinking about the Coex nylons, this is the carbon fiber nylon, and I printed this with a 0.6 nozzle, 290C nozzle temp, and 290C nozzle temp in a 100-degree bed. But holy crap, like I have, where's the failed part? I was like, I had a failed part because it stopped feeding. You guys can probably guess what this is. I'm not going to reprint this because I realized I need a longer top rail to actually use this, and I'm not putting it in front of the site. But this is Nylex. I can't break that. Do you see this? That's how thin that is. I can't break this. This is their Coex Nylex. This stuff is so strong, it's insane. It's high heat resistant. It's super strong. Don't break the monitor again. Yeah. Like I was in the testing program for this filament, printing some, benchies and stuff and little test prints. Now I'm printing actual parts for it. I'm going to hurt myself if I actually try to break this. Like, this is an insanely strong filament, and this is the carbon fiber fill. I also have their glass fill. I also have their regular nylon. We do have it in stock from time to time. They don't always do tons of runs of it, If for some reason we don't have it and you guys want to do something with this nylon, I can highly recommend it. Like I am constantly surprised at how strong this stuff is when we print with it. Now it is expensive. It's 65 bucks for half a kilo, and it's I think like 100 bucks for a full kilo. We carry just the full kilo ones. But like, dear God, like if you guys never printed with nylons, I'd recommend picking up at least half a roll to play with it. And I think you'll be shocked at how strong the prints are. Like genuinely shocked. Like it's crazy. And I think Sean, our print farm tech, I can't remember what model, but he printed, I think it was a Glock frame, because he was asking, he was part of the beta test team too. And they were like, can you send us some prints? So he just printed a bunch of parts like that. But that material is very popular with people that are into, you know, printing firearms and firearm accessories, because it's so strong. It's heat resistant, it's strong, it's light. But if you guys have projects, if you got something that requires a lot of strength and requires heat resistant, this is a really good material for that. And like I said, I'm just very surprised at how strong this stuff is. So, but yeah, who knows? We'll see. I'd be curious to see what, like how this would hold up to like getting hit. Like to give you an idea, that little cap on the bottom of the pistol grip there, that's 2 pieces, and the tolerances were so tight, it was just too much for me to push in my hand. So I actually took this part. These are 2 parts here. So you have the one part and then the clips. These are 2 parts, and I hammered this in on my vise. Can you guys even see that I took a hammer to that piece? I hammered this into the other piece. Can you guys even see any marks on that part? Because I can't, even in person. Like, this filament is insane. Like, it's insanely strong. So, and that goes in there with a satisfying snap. So, like, my favorite part about that, especially, you know, if you have a project that, like, you know, like this is a snap-in piece. That filament's so rigid and so resistant to snapping. If you have stuff that needs to snap into each other, that's a really good filament for that, because unlike, you know, ABS or PLAs, while they can do it, if you have stuff that requires really tight fitment, if you push, you know, tabs for ABS too far, they're just going to stretch out and they'll turn white, you know. The nylon just will go back. Like, it's crazy. So definitely recommend picking up some nylons, whether it's from us or anywhere else. We do have the Nylex in our store. It's Coex Nylex, Nylex. And they have their natural one, which is just a whitish color. And this is the carbon fiber fill. And the glass fill, if you're just going for looks and a little bit lighter, there's also a glass fill. So if like the carbon fiber is out of stock, the glass fill looks basically the same as this. So it's awesome. I see Tor freaking out in there when I was trying to pull this. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I am like, look at my fingers. They're turning red. Like, I am legitimately trying to break this. And that's how thick it is. Look at it. It's crazy. It's crazy strong material. So, anyways, I don't think I have any other tangents to go off on. Yeah, I think that's it. So, I saw somebody asking about the Ender 7. The Ender 7 is right here. I don't know if I moved it back or my camera got moved. But I am going to plan on wrapping that up this week. So, like, what would work best for most people for, like, those random streams is, like, Friday evenings good? Like, you know, Friday nights when people are off work, because obviously not everybody wants to be up late on a Thursday if they got work the next day. So let me know. I'm just curious. I'd like to do it because basically I just want to turn my camera on, turn the mic on, and just work on my printer, you know, like you guys do at home, just except we're all hanging out together and shooting the shit. So Friday night, yeah, because I want to get this printer done. I don't know where I'm going to put it right now. I might put it up on top. I have shelves over here to my left. I have room up top on those shelves to put more printers. So Nadir said, I know the glass fill is more flexible than the carbon fill. Okay. Yeah. Cause this carbon fill is like stupid strong. Like but here's the thing. If you guys are looking for just a cool looking filament, like you can see there, you see the middle here, look at that nice, like it's got like almost like a shine to it. And it's like refracts the light. You see that? It looks way cooler in person. So if you're just looking for a cool looking filament that's also stupid strong, it's really cool. And if you guys don't have a high temp hot end already, our new Tough Hot End V2, that goes up to 320 degrees Celsius. So that would be able to print this. The reason I printed on my one with the mosquito is because my other two printers, my Ender 6 and my AM8 here, because I do highly recommend using an enclosure to prevent warping. They only have a 0.4, and typically with fill type filaments, whether it's glow in the dark or glass fill, carbon fiber fill, wood fill, most manufacturers recommend you print it with a 0.5 or larger nozzle, and I have a 0.6 in my Ender 5 Plus, so that's why these parts were printed on the 5 Plus. And dear Zan, what did I print? So I did it at like 255C at first, and they recommend up to 295, and I settled at 290, and it came out really nice. So like at 290, the filament came out a little more viscous than at 255, or like 250, 255, whatever I started at. It was somewhere in that ballpark. And it just gave it a nicer surface finish. So, yeah, I mean, for like, if you're going after like a matte gray type look, the carbon fiber and the glass fill look phenomenal. But yeah, they're really strong. Like, this is one of these filaments, you know, whether it's, you know, I can't vouch for other nylons, but the Coax Nylex stuff, if you think 3D prints are weak, I'm constantly shocked at how strong this stuff is. Like, it doesn't feel like a 3D print, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you pick up a piece of plastic, you can tell if it's 3D printed typically. Like, you can tell with the layer lines a little bit, but it does hide the layer lines decently. But it just feels like a solid part. So yeah. Oh, and I did dry it. So I put it in my filament dehydrator. So nylons, no matter what brand, are very, I always say, I don't know if it's hydroscopic or hygroscopic. But there's a term that's somewhere along those words. That means it absorbs water. So what happens is nylons, even if they're in a bag with Descant, which these were, they're going to pick up water. So I actually have a food dehydrator, and if you guys want the exact same one I use and the recommended print temps and drying times, go to our help center, which is support.th3dstudio.com, and type in filament drying, and there's a link there. And on that link is I think it's Corsi. Yes, Cosori, Cosori. It's a food dehydrator. But what I like about it is it just has metal racks, and you can take those out and you can fit 5, 6, 7 rolls of filament in there at once. So I dried that for 20 hours in there at 155 degrees Fahrenheit. And then if you notice, my Sunlu dry box, which I'm still testing, is in there. That nylon filament is in there, and that is set to a 65C. So while I was printing it, it was in the dry box. And as far as I can tell, now the Sunlu dry box is not super quick at drying filament because there's really no vents. It's better than nothing. But where I see it being really good is where you have a separate dehydrator, you know, or a dryer, like a big unit like I have, and you want to print from it. That makes it really easy to keep a, you know, somewhat stable temperature environment for that material. And nylons are a big candidate for keeping dry, because the problem is if you get moisture in there as you're extruding it, it bubbles and it pops and it cracks and it prints like garbage. As you can see here, like, this was probably the 4th or 5th part I printed. Okay. And the roll I'm printing from is actually it was part of their beta test. So it had like a little defect in it. Their retail ones I haven't had any issues with. But basically I had a part that was like a little too large, and it stopped up the filament sensor, which is why this failed. But again, that was a roll from their beta test. But the point was that roll has been in there, and I've been printing off of that roll for 3 days now, and the prints are still coming out like the day I took it out of the dehydrator. So, yeah, that Sunlu filament box might be something I am looking at carrying in the shop, because I do really like it. I like the touchscreen. I like the fact that I can set a timer. I can set a set temp. It's got a humidity readout. Now, the humidity readout I don't think is super accurate, but it's accurate enough to know if it is, you know, dry or wet in there. So, but it has made printing with the nylon really nice, because I would dry out a nylon roll, I'd put it on the printer, even on an enclosed printer. And after like 24 hours, I would start getting moisture in the filament. Now, within the Sunlu box, I don't have issues with moisture in the filament, so it is doing its job. So yeah. All right, let's get to the questions here. I don't have any more tangents. I'm like looking around because it's usually what I do. I either have a list or I like leave stuff on my desk to jog my memory as to stuff I want to talk about. I'm just trying to wrap projects up here. So, anyways, let's get to the questions. All right. And the first one is from Dimitri. He says, how do I buy an ABL micro? I'm assuming you meant how do you buy an easy ABL micro? You just go to our website, easyabl.th3dstudio.com. Yeah. Let's see. Beer. Oh my God. I need to get stuff done. I need caffeine, not beer right now. I got to put up Christmas stuff tonight. And I got to replace, oh yeah, if you guys remember a couple weeks back, was it a month ago? I think it was a month ago at this point. I had like electrical issues with my my HHR. Well, now that I fixed all the electrical issues, we were driving home from a friend's house a couple nights ago, and I was slowing down, and all of a sudden my brakes completely stopped working. So that was terrifying. Yeah, so my emergency brake works really well. I was able to limp it home, but the rubber brake, the rubber hose that goes from the caliper to the body, to the metal ones, that fitting by the metal one completely rusted out. What are you guys doing? Are you going through the garbage? You little shit. Hey. No. I was like looking, I was like, why is there a shotgun shell box on the bed? I was like, that was in the garbage. That was in the garbage. So anyways, where was I saying? Oh, yes. So, so my brake lines gave out. So that was fun. So I can say I've experienced brake failure going like 50 miles an hour. It was fun. It builds character, as my father would say. So, yeah, I'll probably be replacing brake lines tonight on the car. I just ordered all new brake lines and new front calipers. Well, not brake lines, the hoses. My steel lines are actually fine. So we're not going to touch those. But yeah. Anyways, what are the rules for the winter contest? Krista, can you send those to me? I got to pull them up here. They're working on all the contest stuff. While I am trying to get firmware and other things done. Krista, can you send that to me on Teams? And I'll pull up all the nitty-gritty details for the contest. So send that over to me. Let's see. I'm trying to find that. We have it somewhere here. Anyways, I will wait for them to post it. Post in the marketing chat. It's a winter printer link. The worst feeling when you press down the pedal and nothing happens. Yep. And Krista was with me, and you could, she just says, she feels it slowing down. All of a sudden, we instantly stop slowing down. She's like, yeah, I was like, she's like, did we just lose our brakes? I was like, yes, we did. I got this, though. It's all good. Okay. So, the Winter Printerland contest. If you guys want to check that out, that's, we've been posting out multiple things on our site here. So, here we go. It's the Winter Printerland. And you can just, I'll post the link in the chat. Here we go. So basically it's holiday themed prints. Okay. And we're doing again, just like we did for the Halloween. We've got $100 for the first place prize, 50 for the second, and 25 for the third. And there's one entry per person this time. So if you guys have multiple prints, save them and send them to us all at the same time. Okay. And then we're going to do I believe we're going to do a live stream here as well. So, and they have here, print must be no larger than 165 by 165 by 165. So I'm assuming they put that in from people, with the Halloween one that had like entire things. But yeah, we'll get some holiday themed prints so you can, put your name and email, upload your prints, what the printer was, the brand and color of filaments you used. So we got a little more detailed here on the, on the submission form so we can get more information. So if you guys want to enter in, show us your awesome winter prints. I am going to do some myself. I wonder if I can enter in myself. That wouldn't be fair. Nemo Grove. Every Halloween, I know that I don't stand a chance. Oh, man. All right, what's the next question? We're kind of all over the place today. All right. Let's see. So there we go. That was Justin Dybell's question here. Joe Velasco says, I wonder if many more videos covering the upgraded Ender 7. Last I saw was doing the linear rails. I did not see the completion. Did I miss the ABL coverage? You did not. I had life get in the way of doing a stream. So it looks like Friday we're going to be doing one. I don't think we have anything going on. I'm going to put that as a strong possibility we're going to do on Friday. I just need to make sure I'm not double booking myself. But I don't think I have any plans. I'm literally pulling up my Proton calendar here and my work calendar. So I don't see why I wouldn't be able to do it on Friday, but I'll have it solidified before the end of today. So, but yeah, because I'd like to get this going. I'd really like to get this printer all upgraded and actually doing stuff in my office here, because I'm going to keep this Ender 7 in my office. So it's going to be added to my personal fleet of machines. So, all right. Baloney, or hang on, Blahoney 1 says, I installed a Corelli 12864 LCD on an Ender 3 S1. About half the time I turn it on, the screen says there's a bunch of random numbers and junk, and turn it off and on several times. Is there a fix? So if you guys are seeing corruption, that's called corruption, on your LCD screens, that is an issue where it's picking up interference on the data line. So basically the ideal thing to do would be make sure you're not routing the LCD wire near any power lines, stepper motors. I know it's hard, but try to get them away from that stuff, and check the grounding on the printer. So Creality likes to use these knockoff crappy power supplies instead of actual Meanwell power supplies in their printers, especially Ender 3 S1. Mine, I believe, had the knockoff. Yeah, it did, because I have it. Mine had the knockoff power supply in it. I have switched mine out for a Meanwell. Haven't had any issues. I'm using our LCD kit on there, which uses the Creality screen as well. Y'all need to quiet down. Anyways, so yeah, it's interference. And if you can't get rid of the interference, the alternative is that you can get, I think they call it like Faraday tape. I have a roll of it here. It's basically a tape that is conductive, and it's a like a woven metal conductive fabric, and you wrap it around the actual cable, and then you ground it, and that will usually clear up the issues. The other thing is you could just have a bad LCD cable. LCD cables are cheap. We carry multiple length ones in our shop, so we have 30 centimeter and 60 centimeter ones, so, you know, basically a foot and 2 foot. If you have like a S1 Plus, you're probably going to want the 60 centimeter one, but it doesn't hurt to just try a different cable. Even if you have a shorter one that's not long enough to work with it installed, it would be fine to test it with it to see if the issue presents itself that way. But in general, and this is with any printer, if you're getting weird characters on the screen and it's not displaying what it should be, it's getting interference. It's also possible the screen could be going out if you ruled out all forms of interference, if that makes sense. So usually it's interference. Like these screens, yes, they, like anything else in this world, they will eventually stop working, but they're usually pretty robust little devices that last a long time. So let's see. Tech Dad asks, if I use UART to connect my Pi 3 to my MKS 1.4 turbo instead of USB, does that affect my motor drivers and how they run? Nope. It just supposedly makes it more efficient because you're getting rid of the USB to serial bottleneck there. Some people swear by it, and other people said that they haven't noticed a difference. But no, it's not going to change anything in terms of how your motors run. It's just eliminating the USB to serial chip and going directly serial to serial. That's all it is. Justin Dybell, how well does Coax Nylax print? It does really well. I started with an ABS profile and modified my temperatures, and that's about it. I think I'm running basically the same ABS. I will say supports on nylon in general, because nylon, one of the good things about nylon is it bonds really well between layers. The bad thing about nylon is it bonds really well between layers. So supports, you got to skip at least one layer. I definitely have to work on my profile for supports with nylons. That's the reason I was printing the foregrip in ABS, because I was like, I just want to put one on there. It's not around any heat. ABS is still really durable, but I had printed one in nylon and I couldn't get the supports out of it. I ended up breaking the part. Like I mean, I put a lot of pressure on it. So yeah. All right. Carlos says I'm slowly converting my Ender 5 Pro to a Merc 1, but I don't want to ditch my Easy Board. Do you plan on making a Core XY option and unifying releases moving forward? So we will not be putting out firmware unless we start selling that kit, possibly. But you're going to want to use, instead of like the standard Ender 5 Pro firmware, you're going to want to use the DIY firmware for the Easy Board V2. Hang on one second. The puppy is like, he's doing the like, I'm gonna growl at you while I'm playing, and it's a lot. I don't know if you guys can hear him in the background, but it's a lot. So basically, because you're not using an Ender 5, then at that point you're using a DIY printer. Use the DIY firmware, and there is Core XY. So the thing is, if you are doing a big project like that, you're gonna have to get outside of your comfort zone and not use preset up firmware. That's just one of the just one of the things, you know, once you start heavily modifying your printer, you have a custom printer, and it's expected that you are going to be more comfortable with diving into code. If you're not, you're going to have to get more comfortable. So we do give you easier to use firmware than saying, here, go figure out Marlin. But we do have firmware that gives you the unified experience on a custom printer with the EasyBoard V1 and V2. We call it the DIY firmware. So go and check that out. It's in our help center, and you can make the changes to the configuration file on the DIY firmware and still upload them to the Easy Firmware site. So you still don't have to deal with compiling it. You just do the edits on your computer, upload the file, and there you go. So, but yeah, you know, anybody like, and this is just a generalized statement. If you're going and doing these, you know, mods where you're replacing the main portion of the printer, which is like the motion system, you're going to have to learn how to do things with the printer, like diving into doing custom firmware. If you're not willing to do that, you shouldn't be doing the upgrade, or you should be willing to pay somebody who does know the firmware side of things. But I would recommend just do it. Just get used to it. Once you do it a couple times, it won't be as scary and unfamiliar. So, you know, to give an idea, like especially with our Easy Boards, we do have the DIY firmware, which makes it a hell of a lot quicker than setting up, you know. But if you're going with something like a Big Tree Tech board or even MKS board, you're doing everything on your own. So, you know, you might be able to find some example config files, but at the end of the day, you're going to be responsible for setting up your firmware from start to finish for your machine that you're building. So, I got to check really quick. Hopefully, I think I heard him hit the bell. So let me let the little, let me let the dummies out really quick. So I'll be right back, okay? Give me 1 second. Come on, go play. Come on. Yeah, my gut was right. He piddled in the garage. He's only 3 months old, so I'll give him a pass. Chris, if you're watching, I put paper towels over it. All right, let's get back into it. All right. I don't know how to say this username, El Rubio. We're just going to go with that. So I just got the multi-mount on the Tough Hot V2. Is the install on Ender 3 Pro just like how you did on the 5 Plus? Yes, you bolt it up. Is there a setting I need to change in the firmware for this hot end? So actually, if you got since you have our Tough Hot V2, it's actually the same thermistor type as the stock one. So no, you actually don't need to do any firmware changes for it. Now, if you're also adding an ABL sensor on, you're probably going to have different sensor offsets. But if you're just going from a stock Ender 3 Pro to putting the multi-mount on there, there's actually no firmware changes required. So yeah, it's interesting. We specifically chose thermistors for the Tough Hot V2 that are the same thermistor type that most manufacturers use, specifically so it's easier for people when they switch it out, if that makes sense. I do think about things like that, trying to make it as easy as possible. You know, the whole easy thing isn't just a marketing gimmick with us. It's something I take very seriously. All right. Let's see. I think I might have accidentally lost SKL's question. SKL, can you copy and paste your question again so the bot can pick it up? Anyways, Emerson Quarter, how well does Nylox hold up to heat? Is it better or worse than ABS? I would say it's better. I mean, here's a heat gun. Let's see. So this is a 320 watt heat gun. I'm going to put this right on here. I am curious myself. So it's on, you can see. Okay, I'm not going to lie. This is kind of impressive. I have not actually, like, tried heating this stuff up. Can I even get this to, like, start drooping? So it's really hot, but it's, like, just starting to get soft. But now it's cooled down. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It definitely, because I've melted some ABS parts before with this little heat gun. That definitely took a lot more temperature to get softened up, and a lot more time than ABS did. But look at it's like, so it's a little softer, but look at it's like going back to its position. It moved a little bit, but like, so here's the non-heated up side. See, it's very rigid. So it's a little bit heated up. I would say it seems like it's definitely higher temp resistance than ABS. Definitely took a little more heat to get it to heat up than normal. Okay. All right. Wesley Phillips, I'm pretty experienced with Marlin. I think I'm ready to try Clipper. Do you have a recommended guide? I think most people are going with what? Nero 3D, I think. Any of you guys mess with Clipper? I don't mess with Clipper because I've got a lot of other stuff to do other than spend, hours and hours tuning my printer. Marlin does what I needed to do, so I stick with Marlin. Which for most people, especially you guys, even you guys watching, for most people, Marlin's going to do what you want to do. And there's also a lot of new features coming out in Marlin, including stuff that are like Clipper's claim to fame, like the input shaping. So, yeah, and the Nero dock, Tor says, Nero 3D and the Clipper docks are what I recommend. So the biggest thing I'm going to tell you right now, because I dealt with this when I was trying out Clipper, is you'll find that some of the documentation is lagging behind the actual software, meaning you're following the guide and the guide doesn't match what the actual software is. So that's something to be aware of, is that if something's not making sense and you're sure it's not you interpreting things wrong or misunderstanding, there's a good chance the documentation could be out of sync with the actual software. So yeah, there's also our Discord server as well. So if you guys need help with your Clipper setup, we have our TH3D Maker community, which is our Discord server. And there's chat channels in there, and there's also little forum channels where you can make a post too as well. And check the forum channels as well, because your question you're asking might already be answered. So we actually set up those forum channels where people can make a post, and think of the post as like your own private little channel for your issue. And then it can get archived and, remain there as reference for other people in the future going forward to hopefully help them out. So I'm glad Discord rolled that out. Let's see. Natural Ethan says, what do you think about the Dual Z upgrade for the Ender 3? Will it make my gantry level? Yes, it will. We have our Ender 3 Dual Z kits. I have one on my Ender 3 right here. My Ender 3 Pro over here has our Dual Z kit on it. Multiple printers in the print farm have the Dual Z kit on that. I know a lot of our customers really like our Dual Z kit because it eliminates the gantry dropping. So if you have issues where your gantry, no matter how many times you rebuild it, the damn thing keeps going out of sync, it's throwing off your bed leveling, it's throwing off your ABL leveling. Definitely something that I can recommend, because like I've had this on my printer for all 2 years, or not, if not more. This is one of the first printers to get it. It's actually the one I used to take the pictures for the build guide on. That printer is very reliable for me. I can literally just send a print to it, and like I always check my first layer regardless of how reliable the print is, but I don't ever have to touch that printer. And yeah. All right, so where are we at? Just make sure we're not going over on time. So we got about, 15 minutes left? It's 4:48. Okay. All right. So Ken Cunningham said, I have two Ender 3s, one with a stock 422 board, one with SKR 3. The SKR gets 5 degrees from target temperature, fluctuates, and thermal halts. Is this a known issue? Thermistor and cartridge replaced. So I'm not aware of ones with the SKR 3s, but in general, I can speak in general to Big Tree Tech boards and even some Creality boards. They've been known to have issues with poor temperature regulation because of poor quality rails on either the 3.3 and or the 5-volt rail on their board. So basically, your thermistor needs a reference voltage to determine what the resistance is, and if that voltage is fluctuating, like it was on a lot of their boards. I think their V1, the SKR E3 Mini V1s and the V1.2s, and I think the 2s all had a lot of issues where the temperature would fluctuate because the poor design of their 5-volt rail, and that combined with the poor design of their actual chips they use. Like they use a lot of knockoff or generic chips, which we don't use on our boards. They compound and you end up getting really weird fluctuations, which can't be solved in software. So people try to do that, and it's one of those things where, I'm assuming you've PID tuned your hot end. If you haven't, try PID tuning your hot end. But if you've PID tuned your hot end multiple times and it's still not getting an accurate reading because the temperature is going all over the place, then it's probably a hardware issue. So yeah, it's just, this isn't me shitting on Big Tree Tech boards. They have a track record of producing boards that do not have good temperature regulation because they cut costs so much, especially on their voltage regulators for the 3.3 and the 5-volt. And if you don't have a stable 3.3 or 5-volt rail, then you're not going to have accurate temperatures. That's one of the reasons why we make sure to design those correctly and use appropriate chips and not using knockoff or cheap chips on our boards. Because if we try to save, $1 on a voltage regulator, it can make the entire board print like crap because the voltage is all over the place. So, the other thing you can try to do is, if it is a voltage stabilization issue, you could try, if there was a 3.3 volt point of access, like pins on the board, or if you can identify them. They do usually post schematics for their boards or diagrams. You could try putting a large capacity, 1000 UF electrolytic capacitor across that to kind of act as a smoothing capacitor. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But yeah, if you've PID tuned your hot end, you've ruled out all hardware issues, it's probably a board. I mean, we have our easy boards in stock right now. They're just under $100. They include tech support. You can get one of those, pop one of those in and see if it works. If it works, then it's pretty clear it's the Big Tree Tech board. The other thing is, if you do have an issue with our board and you're still having problems, our technical support there to help you. You don't have to ask some random guy on YouTube for help. You can actually contact the company that sold the board to you for help with their product. So, all right. Oh, that went down the wrong way. Hang on. All right, didn't want to just mash your ears up with me coughing. The carbonation got to me. All right. Sean Saunders is the next person. He said, I just fitted a Revo CR to my Ender 3 V2, but even after tramming, auto leveling, and the Z-Axis Wizard, firmware, I'm struggling to get a good first layer. Any tips, please? That would be a good one to post on our Discord server with pictures. I see you're running that Mersock firmware. I'm not a fan of that guy's firmware. He's done some kind of sketchy things. I'm not going to get into that, but I stay away from his firmware. Would definitely recommend trying out ours because maybe there's a bug in his. He does a lot of weird hacky things, so maybe it's just as simple as there's a bug in the firmware that's not working correctly. And we have firmware for the Ender 3 V2 with its stock LCD screen and with our 12864 screen kit. But yeah, stuff like that for the first layer. It's, if you've done all the basics correctly, like you've, leveled the bed. I don't know what auto bed leveling sensor you're using, so there could be setup issues with that auto bed leveling sensor, whether it's our Easy ABL or whether it's a BL Touch or CR Touch or, any other touch clone. It could be something getting missed. So, that'd be a good post for our Discord server. There is a section there for, what's it called? For like firmware setup and general troubleshooting. Yeah, we have our own firmware. So if you go to support.th3dstudio.com and just type in Ender 3 V2, we have firmware for that. Yeah. And since you have a CR Touch, any of you guys watching, if you're wondering, if you're like, I've got a CR Touch, but all these guides are for the BL Touch, the CR Touch is set up in firmware and wired just like a BL Touch. So if you have a CR Touch and you're trying to figure out how to get it working, just follow BL Touch documentation. And that goes for firmware setup, whether it's ours or anybody else's. The CR Touch is a knockoff of the BL Touch. Creality cloned the BL Touch. And they called it the CR Touch. So, Wesley has about bamboo. I'm not. I have no interest in any of the bamboo printers. So I'm just gonna skip that one. They're not my thing. I think there are a lot of people. I think they're not a lot of people's thing just because they're not a DIY friendly printer. That's really what it is. They're really not a DIY friendly printer, and that's fine. But that's not the market we're in. That's not what I like buying in terms of printers. I don't care if I got to buy a printer and do a little bit of work to it. I'll take that instead of being locked into a proprietary ecosystem where the manufacturer is forcing you to buy their own parts. They're the Apple of printers. You know, some people really like Apple. Other people really hate Apple because they don't let people fix their own things. I'm one of those people that doesn't like companies that makes it so I can't fix my own things, and locks you into their stuff and their ecosystem. So, you know, like, even though we have our own ecosystem of stuff, our stuff still works with a wide variety of things. You know, if you don't want to use our firmware, you don't have to use our firmware. Like, you know, our stuff isn't locked down, if that makes sense. You know, Bamboo Labs is proprietary. I don't like proprietary things. Hell, I don't even like Creality using ribbon cables on their hot ends because it makes it harder to repair. Like, so... Yeah, the only difference is one is Hall Effect. Yeah, the BL Touch is Hall Effect, and I think the CR Touch is an optical sensor. Either way, they're still both very prone to interference, and they still both have really crappy wires. Like, they use really thin wires. That's one of the reasons why we don't sell the BL Touch or the CR Touch, is not because of the easy ABLs, but because I really don't want to deal with customer support on it, because I have had printers with BL Touches, and they are so prone to picking up interference because the wires are so thin, they're not shielded. That's why we don't carry them. That's why we don't sell them. So we have a lot of people that either had printers with BL Touches and they replaced them with our easy ABLs, or we had people that were using a BL Touch or a CR Touch, and they replaced them with easy ABLs, and they see how much better and how much more accurate and consistent our easy ABLs versus the BL Touch and CR Touch. It's not saying that they don't work. It's just saying I think our solution with easy ABL is a better solution because it's more resilient and has been designed in a better way to work better on these printers, which historically have had a known problem with having electrical interference because of bad grounds or just poor routing, or, you know, poor quality power supplies or whatever. So, all right, we got time for a couple more questions before I wrap this up. Luckily the doggos are being good. They're just running around outside. Except Remo has something. What did Remo grab? Really? They have a milk. Oh, it's a plant. Remo's running around with like one of those plastic plant bottle or planters, like the ones you usually throw out. Anyways, Nardone says, easy question. I have a printed aftermarket cooling part in PETG, hoping to print some Voron ABS parts. Should I be worried about my cooling ducts failing? PETG is not as bad as PLA, but I would keep an eye on it. Hey, it's Tor. When using a smooth PEI sheet, what should the bottom first layer look like? Curious if I've gotten different answers from SKL. Oh, that's the one from XKL. So it really depends on the smooth PEI sheet. So the earlier versions of the smooth PEI sheet will be almost as smooth as glass, maybe kind of a matte glass, like frosted. The newer sheets have a more glass-like finish. So like our last couple of shipments, they have a nicer PEI on them, which improves the layer adhesion, and it's more of a glass-like finish. But it really depends on when you bought them. So when you're talking about, I can only speak to our sheets. I know at one point, the PEI supplier we were using, it had almost like a matte finish, which I have one laying around. So it's kind of like a matte surface finish. So you can see it's kind of shiny, but it's kind of matte finish. And then I don't know if this is one of the newer ones. This was a B-stock one. So this is one of the newer ones. You can see it's still a little matte, but it's still shiny. So if that makes sense. But yeah, it's more of a glass-like finish. Woo! We're gonna peel this off. This is for my Ender 7. Yeah. So you can see this it's still kind of matte, but it's definitely more shiny. So this will be more glass. And this is just because there's as supply chain issues happen, you know, the place that's making the place for us, they have to go and find different ones, and he's usually pretty good about finding good quality stuff and going in the better direction instead of the cheaper direction. So But yeah, I know like some of our stock right now is the older matte finish, like some of the less common sizes. They both print great. I'm not going to complain about getting a shinier surface. So, but the texture plates, those are all consistent because those are, consistent in terms of their appearance because that is a sprayed on and baked on coating. This is actually, if you guys look at, you can kind of tell, and this is one of the differences that sets our plates apart from other people's smooth plates, is this is actually a PEI sheet. There's a lot of people that sell smooth PEI and there's not actually a PEI sheet on it. It's literally just a very light coating, and they do not work as well as the sheets. That's why we keep doing with the sheets. They just work better. All right, so I'll take a couple more questions here, and then we're going to wrap this up because we keep these in the 4 to 5 p.m. window. Oh, I was like, where's my garbage? It's up here because I had dogs running through it, and I totally missed. All right. The protective sheet, do we take it off before shipping? Yes, so that protective sheet I just pulled off, this is actually, I take, for my own personal use, I usually take what are known as B stock plates. So this one has some cosmetic damage, but you can buy these on our website. So you see these little like bubbles in the corner. We'll consider something like this a B stock because it's not perfect. We have certain levels. So I took this right out of the shop, and it had the protective film still on it. We removed the protective film from all the plates because people were not reading the directions when we said remove the film. And then some people were really dumb and were peeling the entire PEI sheet off the plate. So we just remove them. So if you get a plate from us, it will not have any protective film on it. You can just wipe it down with some isopropyl alcohol and print on it. So do not try to peel anything off of any plates you order. They come with it removed. So if like they sit on the shelves with the film on the shelf, as soon as we pull it for ship it, we pull the protective film off and it goes in there because people were literally so dumb. They were peeling, like you can clearly see that this is the plate and this is the PI sheet. They were peeling this off and then yelling at us because they peeled their sheet and ruined it. So yeah, so if you get a plate from us, it does not have a film on it. It doesn't have any protective film on it. Just print on it. Wipe it down with some IPA and print on it. Don't try to peel anything off, because if you do, you're peeling the surface off. Do you think, what do I think of the SV06 and will I support it in unified firmware? So I tried to buy the SV06 through Jim's link, and I commented on his thing as I was making the purchase, and I don't think it actually went through. I appreciate you reminding me, because they had it for $229. And I saw his video, and I really liked his video, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to buy it. I'm checking to see if it actually went through. Because, like, their payment processor just hung. Apparently, yeah, I got an email on Sunday saying, you left an item in your cart. Complete now and enjoy 3% off your purchase with the code welcome back. Let's try it. I'm gonna try this here. So 226, continue. There's a problem processing your order. Okay. Let me try checking out with our company PayPal, because I was gonna buy that one. I was like, I'm not buying another printer until I get through these other ones. Is there anybody here? This actually brings me to another thing. Is there anybody here who has the Voxlab Aquila X2 and is waiting on us to do firmware for it? Because I have the X2 sitting in the box brand new. I'm honestly just contemplating giving it to somebody for their kid for Christmas because it's brand new. What do you guys think? I'm going to try and see if this will work now. Yes, the SV06. I'm trying to purchase this. Let's see if it'll actually go through this time. Their site sucks. Their site really sucks. There's a problem processing your order. I'm trying to give them money, and it's not working. Let me try one more time, because they have it on sale right now for $230. Let me try it again. Ship from US, add to cart, go to cart. Give it away. I haven't heard anybody ask. Tora, I know you're watching. Have you heard anybody ask us about the Aquila X2? Because I'm torn between just giving it to them and letting them use it stock, or building it and giving them a fully working printer and then messing around with the firmware. But I don't know. I don't know if it is worth us doing anything with. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, if it's worth me putting any time into it. You know, I think it's about a year old now. It's been sitting here, so it's still a decent printer. You know, that's not the argument here. Is like, is it worth doing stuff or worth like anything? It is. It's a good little printer. But like, is it worth us doing anything with in terms of products? Because I feel like not many people even bought the X1, even though it was a good price. I'm typing and I'm trying to buy the SV06 right now. All right, let's see. Continue to payment. Let's see. I'm going to try to use the discount code welcome back. Said it should take 3% off my order. Let's see if that works. Wow, I saved $3. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to buy it again. Yeah, I haven't had many people ask. So Tor hasn't had anybody ask us about it. Okay, that settles it. I'm just going to give that to somebody. Because I don't think it's worth doing anything with. I think the Sunlu SA Pro we've gotten requests for. I have one of those. And then I also have the Soval SV01 Pro. So I think those two are worth doing something with. I don't think the Voxlab Aquila X2 is worth like going and doing a complete like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a complete video series on and upgrades and LCD replacements and stuff. I feel like it's not worth it because I haven't had people ask us about it in a very long time. And yeah, their website is still, I'm trying to pay with a credit card and it's just still not working. I might have to use, and unfortunately, I might have to use PayPal. I hate PayPal so much. God, I hate PayPal. But they're a necessary evil we have to keep, because if we kill PayPal, we basically will be shooting ourselves in the foot, because so many people like paying with PayPal. As a business owner, I can tell you, PayPal doesn't like you as a seller. They will try to screw you, and they will enable people to defraud you, which is why I'm not a fan of them. So, all right. SKL, I'm buying the... All right, cool. Order confirmed. I bought the SV06. I had to use PayPal. The credit card process apparently is just absolutely broken. I'm gonna put the I gotta do this now before I forget, because I will forget. I gotta put the receipt in the folder for our what's it called? For our business. Otherwise I'm gonna get an email when my my administrative professional goes through our stuff, aka my mom. She does all of our bookkeeping stuff, and be like, where's the receipt for this? And that's going in the R&D folder because we're buying that to do firmware for. All right. Is the flex plate for the Ender 7 listed? No, this is the flex plate for the Ender 6. 6? I think it's the 6. Yes. It'll be 10 millimeters in each direction, larger, so it'll hang over 5 millimeters on each side, but we're not making a specific Ender 7 one, because Ender 7 was kind of a flop of a printer, even though I kind of like it, especially at the $250 price point they were clearing them out for. I don't think it's worth us having custom plates cut. I don't think there's going to be enough of demand. So in that case, in cases like that, what I'll usually do is I'll find the plate that's close enough, and that would be our 290 by 290, because the Ender 7's bed is 280 by 280. So, all right. I'll answer this last question here from Fenrix. Benino cam for my printer is the EasyCam IR, and does it work in the dark? No, it is not IR. In low illumination, it does do pretty good. I'll show you an actual sample from one of my printers here. Actually, I'll show you from two of my printers here. So my Ender 6 and my Ender 5 Plus both have our EasyCams on them. So let me pull these up, and I can show you the time lapses. So, all right, so here, I think this was, let me see, sort by date. I think these were the foregrips here. So let me open this here. So that's with an Easy Neo. Do you see right there? There's no lights on in the room. That's with one Easy Neo in the front of the printer and the EasyCam. So You can see it's nighttime right here. So to give you an idea, so this is all the lights off in my office. There's just an Easy Neo strip in front here. I think that's a really good, quality for nighttime. What do you guys think? So that's my Ender 6. I have our Easy Cam and our Easy Neos on basically every machine. I think we've got some older printers where we have the Logitech cameras on. Because why replace them? They work, you know. I'm not going to go and replace them just because I want to have our stuff on there. So let me pull these down. So here's I don't know if there's a nighttime one. So there we go. So there's 2 Easy Neos on this Ender 5 Plus. So that's the cheek pad on the KSG I showed you guys earlier in the stream. There we go. Yeah, Easy Neo and the camera are a great combo, to be completely honest. So, yeah, there we go. Look how satisfying that looks. Like, so that's the cheek pad that I showed off on the KSG there. Oh, it looks so good. It's just, you know, yeah, printer prints that fast. So, JK. But there we go. I can watch that time lapse over and over again. So anyways, I'm going to go get the dinguses and we're going to give them their treat and then we're going to wrap the stream up. So let me go get the dummies. Come on, dinguses. Come on, dummies. What are you doing? What are you doing? What? I don't know. Should I give the puppy a treat since we piddled in the garage? We are sitting really nicely, though. We can't see him, but he's sitting. Come here. Come here. We gotta show people how good you are. Come here. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Comment. There you go. Oh, that's my finger. Oh, the puppy teeth. Look at that, the puppy teeth. Ow. Come here. Sit. Shake. No. Sit. Shake. That's not shake. Shake. No. Shake. Good boy. Comment. Sit. Sit. Shake. Good boy. Good boys. There we go. You guys see how big he's getting? Huh? Come here. Huh? Come here. Come here. Look at this thing. Look how big he's getting. He's so big. Look at this big baby. Look how big this puppy is. He is so big. We're like, what, 3.5? 3.5 months? We're not quite 4. But look at this baby. He's going to be a big, big softie. Hopefully a little more cuddly than Remo. I don't know if you guys know, German Shepherds are not a super cuddly dog. They're very affectionate, but they're not cuddly. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Sorry it's a little more all over the place than normal, but whatever. It is what it is. I'll take this, crazy all over the place Tim over tired, low energy Tim. I also don't know if you guys noticed I changed the effect on the flag. It's like a candy cane color, and you might be able to see it right here, but it's like red, white, and blue candy cane colors. So, anyways, trying to be festive. I will see you guys on the next stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to hang out and talk with other people in the community, go to our Discord server at discord.th3dstudio.com. There's tons of channels, whether you want to talk about printers or post pictures of your pets or food, or, you know, if firearms or anything. We actually have a 2A section that you have to opt into. But there's all sorts of fun stuff. And if you want to get help with your printer or just hang out, make some new friends, it's a really cool community. So definitely recommend checking out. And I will see you guys on the next stream. So with that, all I have to say is happy printing. I will see you guys on the next one.